Good morning to all of you. I first want to say that I hope all of you who are with us this morning are staying safe. Your families are healthy as well. We are living in some very unsettled times, and as Amy had mentioned, in an ideal world, which anything but we're living in now, we would be with you in person. But I'm so glad to have a chance to speak with you this morning about the Gabelli School of Business and some of the decisions you have coming up. As Amy said, I have the great pleasure of serving as the Dean of the Gabelli School, and I want to make sure that I provide you with as much information as I can today. And I'm glad to take any questions at all that you might have after a brief presentation and overview of our school. Ordinarily, I would ask how many of you have visited us and how many of you have been to our open houses in the fall, but since I don't have that possibility, if I repeat anything, I will ask you to forgive me ahead of time, but let's get started. So welcome to us this morning. I know you have a lot of decisions coming up for you in the next couple of months, and one of the objectives of this talk is to provide you some insight into why you might want to Gabelli School of Business as the place you start your university career come August, which is when we start these days. And that's why I want to provide you with kind of a lot of information and not very much time, but again, to leave time at the end for questions. One of the things that we are proud of is our mission to work together with you to make your experience. Sorry? Someone say something. Can you hear me?
I think somebody said that the connection was a little bit off. It got a little bit, the audio got a little bit garbled.
Okay.
But,
well, let me start over on this slide. So one of our major areas of focus, if not our major area of focus, is really working together with you and partnering with you to make your Gabelli School of Business at Roger Williams a success. And that's going to be one of the main themes of my talk this morning, because I want to provide you some insights that you might not necessarily have gotten even from a tour on campus or even from being at an accepted student's day. And first of all, I'd like to go through some of our curricular offerings, because these are a major source of pride for us. The degree we offer is a Bachelor of Science, and we offer a variety of majors, including accounting, economics, where we also offer a Bachelor of Arts degree. In addition to the Bachelor of Science, we offer a degree in finance, in international business, in management, and in marketing. And one of the features of the Gabelli School and the university of which we are most proud is that for virtually every one of these majors, there's a minor. And in addition, we are seeing more and more students who are taking not just majors and minors, but combined majors. For example, if you're thinking about a career in finance, you might want to consider a major in finance and a minor in economics. Or if you're thinking about potentially going into the sales of financial instruments, you might want to take a major in marketing and a minor in finance. And that's all doable at the Gabelli School because of the flexibility that we've built into our program. A number of other options available to you as well. Roger Williams has the only law school in Rhode Island, and so we offer a 3+3 business and law program where you can get your degree in business and your law degree in only 6 years instead of the normal 7. Some of you may have heard from us about our fairly new 4+1 MBA program, where you can stay on for a year after your bachelor's degree and get the MBA degree instead of doing the 2 degrees in normal years. You can do that in just 5 years. And we're very proud of our MBA program, and I'm happy to answer questions about that. If you are really interested in a number of degrees, there's MBA JD program so that you can do your bachelor's degree, MBA, and JD all at Roger Williams University. And as I said, we do have a multiple combinations of majors and minors. And among the things I didn't mention in terms of majors are minors that we offer in data analytics. I am very proud to say that we have a data analytics team that has just come back from the national competition, having swept the first and second place finishes in that competition. And we routinely participate in that national competition and end up in first, second, or third place in our categories up against some pretty major schools. So For those of you who are reading or the business media, or you're taking business classes in high school now, or taking a college program, you probably know that data analytics is an area that is extremely important. It's not just emerging, it has really come to fore in terms of being an important majors, no matter whether you're going to marketing or finance or accounting or anything else, everybody has to analyze all the data that's out there. We also offer a certificate in risk management. So you can take a cluster of 3 courses and understand how the whole important concept of risk works. So every organization, whether it's your family business or it's Goldman Sachs, has to manage their risk. And everybody's got a lot of risk these days. And at this particular time, we appreciate that even more than we do when we're pursuing our normal lives. But risk management is another important skill that we provide. And again, you can do this with any major. It doesn't matter if you're majoring in finance or marketing or management, you can do the certificate in risk management. So we have a number of distinctions at the Gabelli School of Business that we are very proud of and that are important to our freshmen, because they tell me that every year when they arrive in August about what things are important to them and what helped them make the decision to come to the Gabelli School. And the first thing I want to mention is that every student has a faculty academic advisor. So as soon as you become a freshman at the Gabelli School, you're assigned an advisor as a member of the faculty. And that person is really your guide. That person can help you select your classes. That person is the person who can help program everything you want to do here in 4 years. If you want to do a double major, if you want to study abroad, if you want to take multiple internships, if there are things that you are really passionate about, you want to include in your curriculum or activities, that faculty member is going to be there for you to help guide you to make sure you accomplish everything that you want. We have a wonderful group of faculty who are passionate about students and about teaching. We don't hire people who aren't passionate about students and teaching. And in addition to our regular core faculty, we have a small what we call practitioner faculty. Those are individuals who have been out in the business world. They may have recently retired. Many of them are very senior executives who are in the classroom working with students, helping students to understand how the business place works, advising them with regard to internships, et cetera. Gabelli also offers peer tutors our business courses. So not everybody's cup of tea may be accounting or economics, and we provide students with assistants and peer tutors of upperclassmen who are majoring in those areas to help you get through those. And as a freshman, we require that you take something called Enterprise. And Enterprise is our gateway course for business, which is a small course. It's usually only about 17 or 16 students, where you get to know your fellow freshmen. You get to know the faculty member who's leading that class very well. There is an Enterprise Fellow assigned to class, and that Enterprise Fellow is an upperclassman who has been where you have been before and can also help to provide guidance to you, and not just in terms of the Enterprise class itself, which they will be happy to do, but also in terms of our student organizations and the kinds of things available to you as a student at Gabelli, and what kinds of experiences person has had that have resulted in them being successful enough to be an Enterprise Fellow in class. In addition, we take very seriously your interest in having a positive outcome once you graduate. And this is something you've probably talked to your parents about, whatever parents are on board today with us, welcome. We begin helping you to think about careers as freshmen in that Enterprise class. We have a program of assessments that are not assignments, but ways for you to develop a little bit more insight into the kinds of things you like to do, what you might not like to do, what you're good at, what you might not be so good at, because everybody thinks they're good at and things they're not so good at. And you can start thinking about this as a freshman, and you can also attend career fairs as a freshman. Many institutions, universities, and business schools don't allow freshmen to go to career fairs, and we encourage it. We actually ask companies who have particular interests in talking with freshmen to let us know, and we give them a little sign that says freshman friendly. So you can talk with them about not just potential careers, but about opportunities for internships and for part-time jobs. There's a first-year experience program. We provide you with a lot of insight and partnerships with students into activities at the university. We have a Center for Student Academic Success, and I can't say enough how important it is for us to partner with you, for you to be successful, not just as a student at the Gabelli School, but also as a person, as a citizen of the world, as an alum of our school and of our university. And so the Center for Student Academic Success is a resource that many of our students take advantage of, where there is tutoring available in things like writing and in math and in other areas. The center also has expertise in helping you with time management. If you need to organize your assignments or your calendar, they can help you with that. There's a very dedicated, very highly trained group of professionals there who can be a resource to you, especially when you're making the transition from your high school senior year to being a freshman. And I can't say enough about the great group of people who work over there. We have very small classes at the Gabelli School. Our average class size is about 22, and that means that some of our classes are bigger, some of our classes are a little bit smaller, but we keep our class size small because we know that students come to the Gabelli School because they're looking for small classes, looking to develop relationships with their fellow students and also with their faculty members, and they appreciate the personal attention that all of our faculty provide to our students. And I mentioned earlier the peer tutoring that is available through the Center for Student Academic Success and things like writing and in math and in the business school in core business courses. You're never going to be alone here. We have lots of support for you. And again, we really are emphasizing, our main emphasis is on your success as a student. And we particularly focus on your freshman year to make sure you get off to a really good start. So what else can you do? We have limited time this morning, but I've highlighted a couple of things that students are generally interested in. Unlike many other schools of business, which don't allow students to engage in research with faculty unless they're graduate students or doctoral students, we have a program where our undergraduates can partner with our faculty on research, and students can work on honors theses. Some of our students have published articles and done presentations at national and international conferences with faculty, which is a pretty amazing experience when you're an undergraduate student. If you're interested in study abroad, and I hope many of you are, if we were together, I'd ask for a show of hands as to how many of you are interested in studying abroad. We can partner with you to help you arrange a study abroad semester. We also have a dual degree program with the Nancy University in France if you're interested in getting a degree from a European school as well as from Roger Williams and the Gabelli School. But more than half of our students at Gabelli study abroad these days. For some reason, Australia seems to be particular semester because it's winter in New England and it's summer in Sydney, and we have a lot of students going there, but they go all over the world. And if there is a place that you're interested in going, our excellent resource people in the Spiegel Center for Global Studies can help you identify that opportunity. We have relationships with many institutions across the globe. But even if there's someplace you want to go that we don't have a relationship, the Spiegel staff will help build one for you. So it's a great thing for you to be able to have that opportunity. And again, many of our students, more and more of them, are studying abroad. Internships are a critical part of our educational process at the Gabelli School. We are unique in the flexibility of our curriculum in allowing you to take multiple internships. You may want to do one, you may want to do two, you may want to do three. And our students do the internships all over the country. They focus primarily on the East Coast. They are participants and support people in lots of different organizations. One of my favorite stories is And apologies to those of you who are from New York. I have to tell this story from New York too. We had a student who had been interning with the Boston Red Sox in the marketing area. And I was talking with and told her that I was coming to Boston for a business trip. And she said, "Oh, McTiernan, I can get you into batting practice." And so I wasn't able to do that, but it was kind of fun. And she was excited to be able to do that. It's a tough invitation for a New Yorker, but it was a nice invitation from her. For those of you who may be interested in an exceptionally challenging experience at Roger, the honors program is available to you as a business student, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Some of you may already have received information about the honors program. So what else can you do? I had to pick up 2 slides for this because it's just so much and it was hard to distill it down. I mentioned, I think earlier, that our students are participants in a national analytics competition that takes place every year. This year, unfortunately, it had to take place virtually, like session today, and like so many other things in recent weeks have had to. Students once again came home with a first and second prize. And if you're interested in learning more about this, there's a new news release on our website, rwu.edu, where you can read all about their accomplishments. And we're very, very proud of them. And I hope that some of you who are listening will end up being part of that group and part of a championship team sometime, I think, at Gabelli School in the future. You can, if you're interested in marketing, participate in our student advertising competition. It's again a national competition where our students prepare a full-fledged advertising campaign that includes media, public relations, messaging, commercials, radio commercials, TV commercials. And I have another favorite story I'll share with you, and parents on board will appreciate this as well. A couple of years ago, our advertising team was planning to compete in the national and did compete in regionals and did compete in the region, had the task of being a full-blown promotional and advertising campaign, Ocean Spray. And those of you who don't know, Ocean Spray is the cranberry company, juice and cranberries in a can, all those kinds of things. And went to one of their sessions, and I asked one of the students what exactly their objective was, and the student told me that they were charged by the company with trying to promote cranberries to a younger group of people, a younger demographic, rather than old people like me. So I really appreciated that, and they did go on win second in the regionals that year. If you're interested in finance, and you're thinking about managing money or going into banking or analysis or investing, our CAFE program, it may be for you. The CAFE stands for the Center for Advanced Financial Education, and the CAFE program manages real money in real time. They're managing about $250,000 in 2 different portfolios. And they do an amazing job. They have a wonderful facility in our building, which some of you may have if you came to visit with us all. And program has launched careers on Wall Street and in various banking communities for many, many years. It's a wonderful program, and I'd be happy again to answer questions about that or talk a little bit more about that. We are very interested in making sure that the students, our students are well prepared to enter the business world. And part of that commitment, we have launched something called Ignite, which is a spring conference just for women students, primarily juniors and seniors, where we bring in alumni and other speakers to talk about careers, networking, and executive presence, and getting a foothold on your first job as a professional once you leave the Gabelli School of Business. So we have a lot going on, again, all to really support you and make sure that you're going to have a successful experience as a student and you're going to be a successful professional as you leave us. That's a slide about our Ignite conference, which we actually were not able to do this spring, but we're looking forward to doing the spring program in the fall. So another point of pride that we share with you that we believe in very strongly, as you build confidence in everything that they're capable of. Our school is about 1,000 students at the level, about 25 MBA students. We work individually with everybody, and know that you are capable of lots of things because you've already been accepted to the university and you've already accomplished great things, or wouldn't be accepted. So congratulations. We want to help you learn how to lead others and know when others really should be leading you. And that's important when you're a business student. Can you still hear me? I'm getting a message, my connection's unstable. Oh, there we go. Okay. I mentioned earlier that we have many opportunities for students to incorporate internships in their and this is part of our commitment to experiential education. The university was recognized by the Carnegie Foundation for our very strong commitment to experiential education, which means that we encourage you to take what you're learning in the classroom and go into the field, an internship, to a project, work with a team, understand what it's like to have real responsibility for a deliverable on a project. And students can do this through the internships I mentioned. You can do this through the Community Project Center, where many of our faculty will take on a project and embed it in the class, and students work on a marketing project or a management project or something that involves economic or financial analysis. And one of my favorite stories around that was right here in Bristol University is located, and our students joined together with our other students from architecture and engineering and developed a project plan for the renaissance of an old armory in town that became a marina, which contributes to the economic well-being of the community. And the reason that happened was because our students did such a great job on the project plan. It was submitted to the federal government, and the town received a grant of almost $1 million to actually accomplish the project. So that's one of many, many, many success stories that have come out of our community center. I've shared a lot of in very much time. I so wish we were together, but we're not, and that's because of circumstances beyond our control. And I like to conclude with a little graphic of employers of our recent graduates, because it's important for you to get an idea of my intern and where you might end up working at the Gabelli School Business. And you can see represented here are multiple organizations from all over the country. And in addition, we do have some students who positions abroad, usually a result of internships. So I have taken up pretty much my allocated, beyond my allocated 20 or 25 minutes, I think, at this point. So I'd like to spend a little time with you and answer any questions that you might have about the Gabelli School of Business, anything I've said, or maybe what I haven't said that you wanted a little bit more about. So Amy, are you going to be in charge of questions today?
Yes, thanks so much, Susan. The audio for most of the time was fine. It got a little bit garbled towards the end, but hopefully everybody was able to hear the last piece about just a sample list of where our students have been employed after graduation.
Can I just say one more thing before we start questions? I am very easy to find on the web, and if anybody has a question or a concern or something comes up for this talk, send me an email. Email is the best way to communicate now that everybody's working remotely from the university. I will get back to you very quickly with an answer to whatever your question is. Some time for some questions today, so why don't we do that first?
Thanks. So again, if you can use the chat feature in Zoom to type in your question, and just make sure that you're typing it in to everyone, or you can send it. It would be easiest to type it where it defaults to everyone, but you could send it directly to me, Amy Tiberio, as well. But you can go ahead and type in those questions, and I'll start reading them out, and we'll get to all your questions. So the first one is, do you have a list of the business majors? So I think that was one of your previous slides, Susan, if you could just go back to that one.
Yes, do have a list of business majors. We'll go back to these majors. that we offer. And again, in addition, we do a couple, if for a major, students can also do a minor. So every one of these majors, students can reframe as a minor. In addition to these majors, we offer that minor in data analytics and that certificate in risk management.
Great. The next question is, when do internship opportunities usually begin, and what are some common places near Roger Williams for internships?
That's a great question. The internships vary in terms of they begin. Generally, students don't get internships until they finish their sophomore year, but there are exceptions to that. Students may find an internship after the freshman year. And because our curriculum is so flexible, they can do 2 or 3 internships rather than the one that many students are normally limited to. And in terms of the second part of the question, it's a little hard to standardize where students go, but I will give you a couple of examples of where they go. I mentioned the Red Sox, and we do some students who have special interest in sports management or in sports marketing or even in sports finance. And we are part of a group of schools that are invited to a special consortium meeting every year by all of the big sports teams in the region from which students are recruited for internships and full-time jobs. So that's one area. We have a number of students who go to New York, particularly finance majors and the marketing and media relations, PR students who are majors with us in marketing and minors in graphic design or in PR in the School of Humanities, Arts, and Education. Those are usually our marketing students involved in that marketing competition, that advertising competition. They go to New York advertising agencies. Or go to Boston for those kinds of things. Our general management students kind of go all over the place. Some of them go to startup organizations. Some more of them go to large organizations, insurance companies, and other types of bigger organizations like Travelers Insurance and Hartford, and they just go all over. It's just hard to standardize where they go, but the opportunities for internships are very significant because we partner not just with our Center for Career and Professional Development on these, but also our alumni network is incredibly helpful with regard to those internship placements, as is our faculty, who have very strong relationships with many alums and many individuals in industry. So I hope that helps you some insights, and if not, let me know and I'll try and re-answer it.
All right. Another question is, more again about internships. Do they happen during the school year or over the summer? Are they paid or unpaid? So we'll start with those two, and then I'll ask the other one.
Okay. Yes, 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 and yes.
Okay.
So students can do their internships during the school year, and many of them do them during the school year. If they're doing them during a regular semester, they have to allocate 135 hours to get the 3 credits of the internship. And that's always possible, but it often is possible. And many of our students, for example, will start an internship in the summer, and they will be asked to continue into the fall. And more our students' opportunities following commencement are tied to their internship. So they do such a great job in the internship, the employer one on full time. Most of ours are paid internships. We try and encourage students to do paid internship or internships at least with a stipend thing, some level of support. In some of the more competitive areas, if a student wants a particular experience, they might take an internship that isn't paid. We at least want to ensure some of their expenses or their expenses for travel, et cetera, are covered for that. So we really do kind of span a lot of different times and again, a lot of different opportunities. But I wish I could had time to share with you some of the stories about our student internships, how they've turned into full-time positions. Some great stories there.
And then one other question, again related to that, is do you have a corporate partner that sponsors the internships?
I'm not sure of the question. We don't have one corporate partner. We have multiple corporate partners because many of the internship come through our Center for Career and Professional Development. The Center for Career and Professional Development is it's located in Global Heritage Hall, which is across the driveway, right across the street from us. And we have a designated individual there who works on developing relationships for the business school and internship opportunities for our students. So we have multiple corporate partners, not just one. So I hope that answers that.
Okay. And then a question of, can you take courses outside of the Gabelli School of Business?
Yes, you absolutely can take courses outside the Gabelli School of Business. As a matter of fact, students have to take something called a core concentration, which is a cluster of 5 courses outside of the Gabelli School. Many of our students use that opportunity to build basically other area of expertise. And just as an example, we have a lot of marketing students who take their core concentration in something like graphic design or in public relations, so that they have additional skills that overlays what they're getting from the business school. Similarly, we will have finance students that core concentration in math, for example, if they're interested in quantitative finance. But students also have elective slots. They can take courses they like. You know, we've had students who have majored in management and they've minored in dance, and you know, very different areas. For the most part, different areas. And so one of the things that is so special about Roger Williams is the extent to which students can diversify their academic portfolio, the number of offerings that are available, not just in the business school, but outside the business school to them.
And then somewhat related, but how rigorous is the double major program?
Well, if you take on a double major, you're going to probably use up a lot of those elective slots you normally would be able to use taking those courses outside of the business school. We have a lot of people who do it. I have an advisee I was just talking with yesterday who has decided she is going to double major in international business and finance, and she's taking a minor in data analytics because she wants to work in an international organization in a finance role and wants to strengthen her analysis skills to be able to do that. It is rigorous, but it's certainly not undoable. Our advising team among the faculty is very careful to have those conversations with our students to make sure they understand what it means to do a double major, that you are kind of giving up some of those elective slots unless you want more credit than you need to graduate, which is something some students want to do, take summer courses or in the winter or whatever. But it's certainly doable. I wouldn't say the majority of our students are doing it, but we have a healthy percentage who are doing double majors for very good reasons and very well thought out reasons.
Great. And then another question about internships is, are there opportunities to do international internships?
Yes, there are opportunities to do international internships. This was not a particularly good semester. In fact, had to bring our students back from a couple of countries where they were doing internships, but we do have internships available internationally. We've had students who have gone to China, to Ireland, to the United Kingdom. We've also had a student do an internship in France. So we've had a lot of interest for some reason in Asia in recent years. So we've had students go to China and Hong Kong. We're building relationships also in other areas in Asia, and we do have opportunities for students on the European continent. We're not doing so much in South America. I don't think we've had anybody go there.
Great. A couple questions related to the 4+1 MBA.
Yep.
Somebody wanting to know, if you aren't sure what you want to do for your major, is the 4+1 MBA program a good choice? And related to that, when would you enter or apply for that program?
So if you received a letter about the 4+1 MBA program, congratulations to you, because we didn't send out a whole lot of those. That's not a decision that you have to make right away. It would be helpful if you let us know if you have any interest, because We're trying to create a community of students who have interest in the 4+1, just to kind of keep in touch with you and have a special party every year or semester that we can kind of check in with you and see how you're doing. But you don't have to make that final decision until you get to really the second semester of your junior year, which is ideal the first semester of your senior year. And the reason we ask you to make a final decision the second semester of your junior year, or the first semester of your senior year, is because one of the great features of the 4+1 MBA is that you can actually start the graduate program in the second semester of your senior year as long as you are accepted. So you take that first course, leading organization, as a second semester senior. Lots of students come into the Gabelli School every year, 4+1, or interested or not, what we call exploratory, and other schools call them undeclared or not decided. And we don't look at it that way. We look at it as though you're just looking at a lot of different things and considering a lot of options. So if you are undeclared somewhere else, you would be considered exploratory at Roger Williams. And I will tell you that every single year that I've been dean, which has been 5 years already, I can't believe it, half of our freshman class has come in not sure of their major. So you're certainly not going to be alone if you enroll with us in the fall and you're not sure what you want to major in. And the other part of that is we've got a great support network, starting with that enterprise class and those assessments and your faculty advisor and the enterprise fellow, the upperclassmen assigned to that class, to help you start exploring the possibilities for your major and what you might want to do. And so there's a lot of support there for you. And we ask you to make that decision at the end of your sophomore year.
Yeah.
I hope that covered your question.
Yeah. So by the time you would sort of officially make that decision about applying to the 4+1 MBA, you would have your major declared at that point.
Yes,
so
you would have, yeah. Sorry, you would have your major declared, because we do ask you to do that at the end of the sophomore year. We're very big at the Gabelli School of helping students to graduate in 4 years. We almost lose, we don't really lose anybody, we almost lose nobody. And that's because of our closed program of advisement. We do have some students who end up, for whatever reason, going an extra semester, but it's very unusual for us. Most of our students graduate in 4 years. And one of the reasons we ask you to declare your major and help you figure that out by the end of your sophomore year is to ensure that you have enough time to fulfill your major requirements and anything else you want to do, whether it's study abroad or more internships or anything like that.
Okay, so a couple questions related to the Bloomberg certification program, wanting to know if it's included with tuition, and if you could just briefly explain how the program again for us.
Well, that's another great question. So great questions today. We do have a separate Bloomberg lab within the Gabelli School of Business. And you are probably familiar with the Bloomberg certification because, well, we've been offering it for the last several years. There is not an extra charge from us to do that. We have faculty who are trained and work with our students to achieve the certification, and we have the technology available to help students get up to speed in order to pass the exams that are associated with the Bloomberg certification. I believe there is a charge for those exams because Mike Bloomberg kind of charges for everything, it seems. So we don't cover that, but the actual any instruction or any of the technology to support students in pursuing that is available with extra charge over and above tuition.
Okay, so just to recap, the support and the technology is included with tuition. The actual exam might carry a fee per student.
Yeah, and if you come to see us, or if we come positively on the other end of this, we'd love to show you our facilities in terms of our actual Bloomberg lab and the Center for Advanced Financial Education. We have multiple Bloomberg terminals, which we have now onto remote access to since the university went to online platforms last month, online instructional platforms. And so students even have access to Bloomberg technology, given that we've shifted to online instruction. So we were happy we were able to work that out because we have a lot of students who are in the middle of things and need to wrap them up by the time they're seniors. So we made arrangements to do that.
Okay. And in the meantime, there you can see those facilities through our virtual tour online. So we have the virtual tour, the You Visit tour, where you can take a look at sort of a 360-degree view of those labs within the Gabelli School, and also our recorded full campus tour with our student tour guide also walks through the building. So
thank you.
Yeah. And then just with the Bloomberg certification program, what would that allow like people to do? What's the benefit of doing that sort of a program?
Well, you know, the Bloomberg data is proprietary and unique. And this is where we call him, where I'm from in New York, Mayor Mike. This is where Mayor Mike kind of made a big part of his fortune in developing this unique data set. And literally nobody else has it. If you want this data set that they produce, you have to go through, you can't go through Moody's or Standard & Poor's or, you know, MoneyNet, any of those things. You've got to go through Bloomberg. We find it's something that we recommend to our finance students, especially those who are considering careers on Wall Street. Investment banking or analysis or anything along those lines. The technology is very heavily used by our CAFE students, the Center for Advanced Financial Education, the group that I mentioned earlier that's managing those two portfolios in real world and time, the real money in real time, because they actually make the trades themselves. We don't have an advisory board that makes trades for them. They're doing trading in real time. So they're a group that we really recommend to them that they take the Bloomberg training and get the certification. But we have other students who are, for example, marketing majors who are interested in quantitative analysis and marketing, and we've had more of those coming along lately who have elected to do the Bloomberg training as well. But it's primarily finance students who do it. And it's really the gold standard on Wall Street from the feedback that we get from our alums there, that it is helpful a line on your resume when you're going to interview, and it helps distinguish you from individuals who may not have had any exposure to Bloomberg. There really, you know, there aren't all that many business schools still that have the kind of access to Bloomberg technology that we allow our students. Sometimes it's limited, sometimes they don't have enough terminals. Sometimes it's only for certain majors, but we don't put any of those restrictions on it.
Somebody else had a question about whether we have an entrepreneurship program.
We do not have an entrepreneurship program right now. We do have a group of students who are very interested in entrepreneurship, and we are working a minor in entrepreneurship, which I hope that we will be introducing sometime next year.
In what ways, or how much and in what ways does the honors program differ from the standard business program?
Well, the honors program is something I would really recommend to students who are interested in a special challenge. It's a cohorted group of students, and a group of students takes many of their classes together in the arts and sciences and the core, which the core of the arts and sciences, the liberal arts, which is the foundation of our business program. So the difference really would be in the liberal arts that students pursue as a cohort. There's also a living learning community for our students, so that those students get together in a specific area and develop relationships within that group of individuals, particularly as freshmen, but certainly proceeding on to the freshman year as well.
Let's see. So somebody would like both of us to compare Roger Williams to the other colleges or universities where we have worked.
Oh my. You want me to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in as well.
Well, you know, I've worked at a number of business schools, and this is usually the part of the talk where somebody's had a peek at my bio on the website, but I've worked at some other business schools that are very distinguished schools, and I think that, I mean, I've worked at some very qualified places, but to me, Roger Williams is distinct from a number of other places in a variety of ways, not the least of which is our personal attention to students, which is one of the things, frankly, that keeps me here. Some deans never see students. They do administrative work in their offices, and they go to meetings and they don't have a chance to interact with students. And I walk around our building all the time, meeting with students and seeing how they're doing. And that's a big difference from us and a number of our competitive schools, a couple of which we're at. That's distinguished for me, the personal attention that we give to students, and the way we stay with them even after they graduate, and that they become citizens for the school and great ambassadors for us.
Yeah, I would say for me, what's really cool about Roger Williams, and I think unique compared to some places, is just because we are a comprehensive university that has a school of business, you get a really nice diversity of students that you're interacting with, inside the classroom, outside of the classroom, and the opportunity to take courses, outside of business to really round out your experience. So there's something really interesting about, being roommates with an architecture major, or, being in a student organization with a marine biology major, and just having that diversity of different interests and thought. And I think that Roger Williams' mission for social justice is really important as well. And our students come to us because, they want to, during their time at Roger Williams and then after, also really be prepared to do something positive, make an impact in the community. And we give them so many ways to do that and to learn how to do that. And so I think that's a nice thing for anyone, but for students going into business as well. There's a lot of focus in business these days on social causes and social entrepreneurship. And so I think that if you're interested in the ways that those intersect, then Roger Williams would be a great place to prepare for that as well. All right, so somebody else asking, if you do an internship in Boston during the school year, do students typically take the train to get into the city? How would that work in terms of transportation?
Students, they can train because there's an easy train from Providence into Boston. And there's a bus from campus that takes students right to the Providence train station. We see a lot of students who carpool, who will drive, which frankly, I think the train's a much better idea into Boston because the traffic has to get worse all the time. It's a really easy trip from the Providence train station. A lot of our students do that.
Okay. And then a question, if you do the 4+1 MBA program, can you still study abroad?
Yes, the answer is yes, you can. But if you are a 4+1 student and you're interested in studying abroad, that's something that you want to mention early to your academic advisor. You should also know that the MBA program has, as one of its very special features, a required international experience where our students go abroad over spring break. It's about a 10-day trip. And they've traveled to Panama. We were supposed to go to Chile and Argentina this year, but everybody knows what happened in early March. So we didn't go here, but we're planning on another trip next year. Absolutely can do study abroad.
Okay. Next question is, do you have the same advisor throughout, or do you change, or if you change or double major outside of the business school, will your advisor change?
Well, that's another great question. Students are assigned an advisor as freshmen, and that advisor may not end up being your advisor long term because you decide you want an advisor in your eventual major. Because I mentioned earlier that many of our freshmen, half of them come in as exploratory students. They don't always have a major. But if you stay with that advisor, and many of our students do, that advisor, they were assigned as freshmen, you can do that. It's really up to you. Students make the election to stay with the advisor or to change advisors once they've decided on a major.
Great. Somebody else is asking if the campus is open for a drive-by tour. So the campus is technically still open. You could drive by or drive through. You won't really be able to get into buildings, like, nor should you kind of go in and out of the buildings, because most of us are working remotely right now, so there's not really any activity, but you could certainly drive down there and drive through and take a look.
And you could enjoy our beautiful view.
Yes.
You can get out of your car and take a walk around, because you'll probably be one of very few people there now. Usually it's a pretty bustling place, but if you're interested in a drive-by, I wish we had another way of helping you to get a better idea of what we're like, but a drive-by is, I guess, a good way to see the campus. That view is really lovely and very soothing at these very tumultuous times.
Yeah, it looks like that. That's not really behind me, but that's what it looks like.
It looks like that.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. All right. Somebody else is asking about the average salary coming out of Roger Williams.
The average salary, according to the data that we have, is somewhere around $55,000. I will just qualify that, because one of our big challenges has been getting our alumni to provide salary information to us, but every year that reporting number gets better and better. So I'm comfortable saying that at this point.
Great. And then a related question about the percentage of students employed within 6 months of graduation. And we recently got that data for the class of 2019 was 99% for the business graduates. So super impressive success there.
You're doing well.
Yeah. And then somebody wants to know, if you applied for one major within the business school, can you switch it before the fall?
Yes, you can switch your major. You would need to talk with our friends in admissions about doing that. Amy, maybe you can talk a little bit more about the mechanics of that.
Sure. So there, really, anytime if you were admitted into a particular major and you wanna switch at any time, you can contact us in the admission office. And what we do is we just take a look and make sure that you have, based on your academic foundation in high school, that you are qualified for that, only because some of our majors require, for example, more stringent math curriculum. And so, we'll just want to take a peek at that. But for most students, they're able to switch their major. That can happen prior to orientation. It can happen during orientation or after that, really whenever you've made that decision. Next question is, if you are not completely sure what you want to do, but business is what you're thinking, would you recommend coming in as exploratory and going into the business school after, or come in as a business student and then change your major?
Well, I think if you're leaning towards business, you're probably better off coming in as a business exploratory student, because if you come in as a general kind of non-business exploratory student, that's okay, but you would have to then apply to transfer into the business school. And that's a separate process, and we only do that twice a year.
And then the next question is, are there options for first-year students to work part-time at Roger Williams?
Yes, there are definitely options for first-year students to work part-time. There's a work-study program, of course, and Amy would probably know more about that than I would. We also hire students, for example, in the Gabelli School of Business Dean's office. We usually have 4 or 5 students working there and supporting us administratively and helping out, showing students around and that sort of thing. But yeah, absolutely. There's a student employment program. Amy, can you say some more about that? Because you know more about that than I do, I think.
Yeah, so some students will have received some work study within their financial aid package. And so that means that you're guaranteed to be able to earn that money throughout your time at Roger Williams. And when the student worker positions are posted, they're posted online. The people who have work study have first dibs at the positions so that they can be able to get a position on campus. They apply to the positions that they're most interested in. And then they would, each department would have sort of a different interview or application process, and they can get that position. And then once the work study, people who have work study have secured their positions, then the rest of the positions are open up to anyone else who would like to work on campus. And there are over 1,000 job opportunities for students. So many, many opportunities for you to take advantage of. Even just within the Office of Admission, we hire about 60 to 70 student ambassadors to work with us every year. All right, somebody else wants to know, would I be able to major in marketing and minor in sports management?
Well, we don't have a sports management major, but you can certainly major in marketing. And we, sorry about that. If you're interested in sports marketing or sports management rather, what I generally encourage students to do is do the management major, because you get fundamental skills in management through that, and then do your internships, or at least an internship in a sports related area. We get a few questions a year about sports management, and I usually tell individuals, students and families the same thing, that it's kind of a narrow area of focus at the undergraduate level, because if you major in sports management at the undergraduate level, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself a little bit into that. Whereas if you major in management, you can always go into sports management. And if you decide you really love sports management after an internship or two, there's always an advanced degree in sports management. But my advice, which you didn't ask for, but here anyway, is to think keeping your work at the undergraduate level more general, because with a management degree, you can go into sports management, but with a management degree, you can't necessarily go into other general management area if you change your mind.
Yeah. All right, so somebody is wondering if it's manageable to have a job off campus in the freshman year, or do you only recommend work study?
Well, you know, again, it's a question I think that's dependent on a student's organizational skills and what their academic load is going to be and what else they're interested in doing in terms of student activities. We do have freshmen who work. There's no question about that. And that's possible. I mean, I know of a couple of freshmen who are working off campus now. More often, we see freshmen who work during school breaks over Christmas and January, or the holidays over December and January, and during spring break in the summer. But there are students who will work freshman year. I suggest that it would be a good idea to make sure you've got good organizational skills to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's up to each individual to make the right choice. Sometimes we recommend that work study is a nice option because when you're working on campus, your supervisor is somebody who understands that your number one job is being a student and can tend to be a little bit more flexible with, if you need time to study or, whatever might be going on with your academics. As departments, we really work closely with students to make sure that they can be successful. So that's just one benefit of being on campus. Also minus the commuting, to and from a position. Our first year students are generally not able to have cars on campus. If commuting students, of course, can. And then as a sophomore, they can have cars on campus at that point. And then somebody's asking, when do applications open for work study jobs? I can take that one, Susan.
Yeah, that'd be good, because I'm not.
Yeah, so there are some positions where you can actually start to apply or express interest as early as over the summer before enrolling. So for example, for our ambassador opportunities, we will actually have tables at summer orientation to let, if students are interested in learning about the job, and they can start to apply that early. But generally it'll be kind of right when you begin the academic year in late August that students will start to secure their positions and get all that confirmed, and just at the start of the semester. And then somebody's asking, how much does it cost to have a car on campus, and when are we able to? So generally students can start to have a car on campus their sophomore year unless they're commuting. There is a parking fee. I honestly don't know how much Susan, do you know how much it
Don't know
costs
how
to get
much
the
it is.
parking permit?
I'm sure it's on the website.
Yeah.
I think it's a nominal fee, but I don't remember the name. I don't remember how much it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can try to look that up quickly and then we can we can get back to you. I want to say it's like, no, I shouldn't even guess.
We can get back on that.
Yeah, we can get back. All right. So we'll do one more question that just came in and then we'll wrap things up. Somebody wants to know, somebody says $185 for the parking permit.
Thank you.
Their sister is a student. Awesome. Love the crowdsourcing.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. And we do also have zip cars on campus too. So you don't necessarily need to have a car on campus. You can sign out the zip card. It's kind of like renting the car for an hour a day or whatever. You can take those. And then there's also a shuttle service. And that's actually the last question here that we'll do. Is there any type of shuttle service that would get you off campus, and where are the locations? So we do have a local shuttle service that will take you around Bristol, and then the public bus system. There's a bus stop right on our campus, and it's called the RIPTA, the Rhode Island Public Transportation Authority. That bus will get you into Newport, it'll get you into Providence, and many students take advantage of that. It's really convenient and great opportunities in both Newport and Providence.
Could I make some just quick concluding remarks, Amy?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone again for joining us and for your forbearance in this very unusual format. I want to congratulate you all again on your acceptance to the Gabelli School of Business. As most of you probably know, we are an AACSB accredited school of business, and only 5% of business schools in the world are accredited. So that ensures you a very top quality education, because we are accountable to another organization to demonstrate that we're delivering everything we say we're delivering in terms of the quality of the experience. So thank you for joining us. Again, if you have other questions, please email me, or we do have another Q&A coming up. Do you know when that is, Amy, off the top of your head?
Yeah, tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 1, we have just a Q&A.
The first one, and then there should be some others throughout the coming weeks.
Yep, so please send your questions. Thank you. Good luck with your decision making. I hope I will see most of you on campus in August and over the summer for orientation. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks so much, everyone. And just echoing that, congratulations. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend.
Yep, bye everyone.
Bye.